Hello and welcome to my channel. Welcome to this video. My name is Sarah if you haven't been here before, and today I wanted to make something a little different because lately, particularly last week, something really hit me and I wanted to share it with you guys. So it's definitely something that has always kind of been that way with me, maybe looked upon as a good thing, maybe a bad thing, or maybe a bit of both. But last week, it really hit home and it was a bit upsetting. So really, I want to talk about why nice people tend to get taken advantage of. So that hard truth of how I learned that last week and how I really have always, and then as I said, it hit home again. So I guess this past week, it really hit me hard. I left, a bit of background, I'm an expat living in another country, which is really fabulous. Definitely has its pros and cons like anything and anywhere. But overall, really, really cool. So constantly meeting new people and that sort of thing. I'm a mama, and so there's a group of other mothers who organised a dinner, which was lovely. And so I left that dinner feeling really drained and kind of a bit invisible, I guess. And honestly, a little bit hurt. And it wasn't because anyone yelled at me or did anything technically wrong. It's because I spent more time driving around for others than actually being present at the dinner. So when I got home, the first thing I said to my husband when he said, "How'd you go? Did you have a good time?" I thought, why does this keep happening to me? And he was obviously sad for me too and upset to see me that way and the rest of it. So with, these new mothers, these new families I've met, I'm always happy to help. I've offered to help, if it's pickups, drop-offs, helping out with favors. I really do not mind. I love doing things for people. I think it's in my nature and I care. So I love being someone who you can rely on. But that night when I realized I'd barely, been at the dinner, barely, I felt like I really connected with anyone. I spent more time helping than being helped, which is okay, but not constantly. So I felt like I was really running on fumes. And I realized I gave so much that I forgot about myself, which is where I think is really important to acknowledge and to recognize, especially being a mum too. That's something I always want to instill in my children, how important it is. Yes, be kind, be a good friend, be there for others, but you really have to put yourself first and always check in with yourself. So I guess there's a bit of a pattern here there's been for me. And I acknowledge that. And so this isn't just about one night. It's a pattern I think a lot of nice people fall into. We people pleasers, I guess you could say. We say yes before we even check in with ourselves. So I was caught off guard numerous times in the last few weeks. And that was also combining that last Friday. And you don't even have time to think, and there you are, you're like locked into something that you haven't even considered that's going to completely put you out, put other things out. But so we kind of we help, not just because we want to, but because we don't want to seem selfish or let someone else down. But here's the truth, and that hurts a little. When you're always the helper, the giver, the one people can always count on, sometimes they stop asking, "How are you?" And that's another thing that really hit hard. There was no acknowledgement of how long I was on the road for, no really real thank you. It was almost an expectation. And so that doesn't sit well. I think if it's acknowledged and it's not because I need, a big drama over helping. It's nothing like that either, but you just can feel that there's insincerity there and you're being taken advantage of. And it's not to say because they're bad people, but because potentially you allow it to happen the first time. So it's kind of like training them in that way, that maybe without realizing it, that your needs come second. And then there just becomes that expectation. You're that yes person, which isn't a good thing. So that night and over the weekend, I really made a quiet decision. I'm not going to stop being kind by any means. That's me. I'm okay with it's a lovely quality to have. It's a great quality to have. But I'm going to stop giving from a place that leaves me empty. Kindness doesn't mean saying yes to everything. Sometimes kindness means saying, I wish I could help, but I need to take care of myself right now. Obviously, not exactly in these words, but, really process what's being asked of you. And then if you can really acknowledge that it's not putting you out, then okay, that you can do it. But otherwise, it's okay to say no. Look, boundaries aren't barriers. They're just bridges to healthy mutual relationships. And if these other mothers, these people you meet, friends, families, what have you, other people and families and that become friends, well then in my eyes and in my view, and another thing we teach our children, that true friends don't take advantage of one another. True friends listen, we give and take, you're there for each other, open and honestly. So I guess my advice and my take from this and to share with others, if you feel like you're that person, if you're the giver, if you're the helper, the kind one, I see you. And I want you to remember that you do deserve the same care and consideration that you so freely give to others. It's really not selfish to protect your energy. And as I'm getting older, I have really acknowledged this and see this so much clearer. It's sometimes really hard to do. It is, but I like to think I'm getting better at it. Well, maybe not in the last few weeks, but certainly I do acknowledge it now at least. And it's not rude by any means to say no. It's truly self-respect, and you're allowed to have it. Everyone is entitled to it. So let's keep being kind, but let's also start being kind to ourselves too. So with that said, I'd like to thank you so much for watching. I appreciate each of you. I might, do a series on this and other insightful things that maybe resonate with you guys or even and others, so we can share and learn from one another. Stay well, stay happy, always be you, be true to yourself, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.